Playing a game where you are a border custom inspector sounds like the most boring premise in the world, but today's game, Papers, Please, actually takes that and does some wonderful things with it. You are basically a checkpoint guard it's in 1982 and it's sort of Eastern Bloc country, and really people come up, they show you their papers, and you have to decide to let them into the country or deny their access.
The whole idea is people come up to your checkpoint and they want to get into the country. You look at their papers and you decide whether or not they can. You either stamp approved or denied. But there are all these criteria that you have to watch out for. It begins quite simply. You just have to make sure that their passport issue date is legitimate, and you have to make sure that the issuing city is legitimate. But as the game goes on, all these variables get thrown in. You've got people who are using the wrong name. You got people whose height doesn't match what it says on the passport. And even that sounds kind of boring, but really it's got this really weird, interesting, cool Cold War vibe to it, and it puts you in a position of odd power. You feel like you really have control over these people, and they come up to you with sob stories like, oh, I don't have a permit, but I need to get into the country, and or my husband was just in line in front of me and I have to follow him.
It starts slow and it just sort of builds up, and it keeps adding stuff, For instance, there's like someone who's trying to defect, and so you get the ability to detain them. There are terrorists who come, and that'll close off your checkpoint.
If you let somebody in who shouldn't be let in, or if you deny somebody who should have been let in, you get a warning. And it's like every time I stamp somebody's passport and give it back to them, I was waiting to hear that little dot matrix printer kick into action saying you've done it wrong, they used the wrong name, they had an expired permit.
And you have to take care of your family. So you get paid about, $40 a day, or depending on how many sort of people you get through. And, basically you have to decide, if you're gonna buy food, you're gonna buy rent, basically your family. If you ever out of money, delinquency is bad in Arstotzka, our crazy country, and the game is over. This is such a weird little game, but it actually does make you feel things. It makes you feel super bad, and these sob stories, there's basically people women are being forced to work in a brothel, and they're like, don't let the pimp guy in. But of course, if you don't let the guy in, you're gonna get a citation, which eventually will affect your family. For a game that's basically one screen and just sort of a window, the atmosphere is amazing. The tone, sort of dystopian nature of the game.
I feel like I could actually go work a border checkpoint after having played this game.
On paper, this sounds like the dumbest, most boring premise ever, but if you really like indie games, if you like different types of gaming experience, you really have to check this out. I was really surprised and impressed. You just basically almost on the ingenuity alone, I'm gonna give Papers, Please a 9.
Yeah, I love this game. 9 out of 10 for me as well.